This video was made possible by my patrons. I'd like to give a special thanks to Cassandra Barker, Charlie M., Dorinda Toner, Eric Danielson, Gundam Bradley, Malpertuis, and Turindo. Thank you so much. So, there's this episode of Bluey called Copycat.
This episode of Bluey is called Copycat.
Bandit, aka Dad, wakes up to find that Bluey is copying his every move, so he bolts outside for his morning walk and gets silly with it. All the while, Bluey saunters behind, imitating everything he does. But the game comes to an abrupt stop when they encounter an injured Budgie on the ground.
It's a little Budgie.
Is it okay?
No, it looks hurt.
What do we do?
Bluey gets a box and a tea towel, then they safely transport the little fella to the vet. But unfortunately, he doesn't make it.
I'm sorry. It's bad news, I'm afraid. The little Budgie died.
Oh, okay.
Bluey is a thoughtful kid, and she's upset by this experience, so Bandit, doing the best he can, tells her it's out of their hands.
Dad,
Yes, mate?
I don't want the Budgie to have died.
I know. Me neither. But there's nothing we can do. It's out of our hands.
Are you sure he won't get better?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Later that day, Bluey proposes a game to her sister, Bingo. Bingo will pretend to be an injured bird, and Bluey will attempt to help her. Chilly, aka Mum, assumes Bluey wants to play through a scenario in which the Budgie ends up okay. But Bluey corrects her.
Oh, no, Mum, you have to pretend it's bad news. That the Budgie's dead.
Oh, are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay, I have bad news.
Oh, did the Budgie die?
I'm afraid she did.
Oh, okay.
The episode concludes with Bingo flying out of the vet's office, alive and well, because they forgot to tell her to play dead. So Chilly sits down for a chat with Bluey.
This isn't how you wanted the game to go, is it?
No. That's okay. There's nothing we can do. It's out of our hands.
This is an episode about the importance of play. About how children, but to some degree all of us, process our emotions and difficult experiences through reliving them. That's Bluey in general. It's about the importance of play, because it fosters in us curiosity, empathy, and strength. Plenty of commentators have compared the phenomenon of Bluey adults to the brony subculture of the 2010s. And I get it. Both shows focus on social-emotional development foremost.
Bluey is a Trojan dog smuggling messages about the importance of playing and using your imagination to invent games in childhood development.
We had a little bit of a tough time with our eldest daughter when she started school. It was all about golden words and numbers being tested, and she didn't respond very well to that at all.
After speaking to child psychologists he knew and reading reams of research going back 50 years, the animator came to the conclusion that social, dramatic play aids development and subsequent learning more than forcing children 7 and under to learn numeracy or the alphabet.
And, of course, both shows have a substantial adult fandom. Both are merchandised to death, and both feel visible online. But as someone who has been a My Little Pony fan for pretty much my entire life, I feel obligated to point out that the appeal of the shows is different. My Little Pony Friendship is Magic is a pretty well-written fantasy show that, while centered on the importance of friendship, also has action sequences and tons of world building that really anyone can enjoy. It feels like a D&D campaign. Bluey, conversely, was never intended only for children. It was intended for anyone.
The idea was to do a co-viewing show. You've probably sat through some pretty dire cartoons. The majority of them are just an assault. I wanted to do something that was not conflict-driven, that involved the parents and shows the laughter and real warmth that you get as a family. To me, it's very beautiful, and I wanted to show that to the world. It was a gamble, but I thought kids and adults would respond to it.
I would have rolled my eyes at this comparison a few months ago, but I would compare the vibe of Bluey to a film like My Neighbor Totoro. Sure, it's about 2 little girls learning to navigate their world and its heartbreaks, but I'd never discourage an adult from watching it, because it's got craft, it's got heart, it's got something for anyone. It's really no wonder that Bluey is now one of the most critically acclaimed shows of all time.
There's no counting in Bluey. There's no learning this or that. Just show 'em playing. It's to show parents that the kids aren't just mucking around, they're learning to play, learning to share.
And with every exceptional piece of media comes copycats.
An American TV show is being accused of ripping off Brisbane's runaway hit Bluey. Chip Chilla tells the story of a family of rodents. As you'll see, there are striking similarities between these copy rats and our favourite healers.
From the music to the animation style and setting, new TV series Chip Chilla is being dubbed a bootleg Bluey.
I first learned about Chip Chilla, the Daily Wire's Bluey copycat, when my good friend Jose made an excellent video about Bandcamp, a streaming service intended as a MAGA Disney Plus alternative for children. And yes, I got his wholehearted permission to make this video, in which he will cameo throughout. Apparently, Chip Chilla v. Bluey was a whole controversy in cartoon spaces upon release, and I missed that wave of discourse. But after watching Bluey and loving it, I became fascinated with the sheer existence of Chip Chilla. One, because it's such an unapologetic copycat of one of the most popular IPs of the 21st century, at times shamelessly veering on plagiarism. And two, because the idea of Bluey being too woke is sort of ridiculous to me. Bluey is a chill, moderate children's show that doesn't feel particularly political. Like, yes, by the maxim, all art is political, you could consider a lot of what Bluey portrays progressive.
Yeah, like when my guinea pig ran away, my mum's told me he might come back, but he didn't. Aww.
But overall, Bluey may star dogs, but it's not dogmatic. Nor would I consider it far left. For one, the show has been criticized and re-edited after using anti-Indigenous language twice.
I'm like, honey please, ooga booga.
Booga booga? Who's Ooga booga?
Bluey has also been censored on Disney Plus, and rather conservatively, for which the company has received backlash a few times. In general, Disney doesn't think Americans should see poop or vomit. For season 1, they also removed a scene of Bingo asking her dad where babies come from, which, by the way, he doesn't answer. It's not like a sex ed episode or anything like that.
Dad.
Yeah?
How does the baby get in the lady's belly?
Oh!
For season 2, they removed the entire episode Dad Baby, in which the girls play a game where their dad has a baby. In both episodes, these scenarios are innocent. Bandit rolls with the game because he doesn't want to explain anything about the birds and the bees to his daughters. So I had to wonder, why does Chip Chilla exist exactly? And why does it imitate Bluey? I went into the show without doing a preemptive deep dive because I wanted an unjaded view of the text, at least as much as possible. I went in without knowing much about its creators, animators, producers, etc. I didn't look up other video essays about it, but just from perusing some of the discourse left in its wake, during my initial curiosity, it was obvious that most content about Chip Chilla is focused on arguing that it's a Bluey ripoff, rather than discussing the text itself, its messages, and its rhetoric. So that's what I set out to do. Analyze what exactly Chip Chilla is trying to say, not what it's trying to be. What I found is this. Chip Chilla is often talked about as a bland show with harmless messaging because its target audience is children. A show that bears unfortunate similarities to Bluey, but isn't necessarily harmful to its target audience. I'd like to argue that that's not true. There is something rotten at the ideological core of Chip Chilla, something that corrupts the quality of the whole, little by little. Because Chip Chilla is, inadvertently, a rich text about what it means to be an American reactionary today. It wants to have a literary/historical bent, so it can instill a sense of American nationalism in its viewers, but it also thinks reading is boring. so its storytelling is rarely cohesive. It presents a warped family dynamic in which the whims of the father and the feelings of the eldest son are presented as the priority to which the mother and eldest daughter must cater. Dad organizes games for his kids to learn from that include astonishing sets, props, and costumes. This all seems like Bandit Healer to the naked eye, but under close inspection, Chip Chilla is the Mosquito Coast, retold in suburbia, presented as a children's show.
Once I had believed in Father, and the world had seemed small and old. Now he was gone, and I wasn't afraid to love him anymore. And the world seemed limitless.
Only, in this version, the dad is the uncomplicated, wholly reliable hero of the narrative, and I think that's fascinating. Especially since the Daily Wire, Bandcamp included, is looking more and more like Ali Fox's Geronimo these days, a failed attempt to build an isolated, self-sufficient place where children can be raised uncompromised and uncorrupted by the quote-unquote evils of wokeism. Folks, it's Chilla time. Hey there. If you're new here, I'm Lola. If you're already subscribed, thanks for your patience. I haven't made a video in a while. I got really sick. I moved to a new country, and I got married. It's a long story. But I'm back, and I'm healthy, and I'm happy to be. While I was making this video, Lindsay Ellis and Angela Collier made their own Bluey videos that are pretty popular right now, but I pinky promise, and I hope this is self-evident, that I'm not trying to copycat them.
This episode of Bluey is called Promises.
But if you haven't seen them, their videos are great and worth your time. Links in description. I want to provide you with a little context before I dive into this show. The Daily Wire is an American right-wing media company founded in 2015 by conservative commentator Ben Shapiro and Jeremy Boring, director of Matt Walsh's projects. They get funded by petroleum billionaires to produce podcasts, movies, and video series. They also pump Facebook full of megatons of misinformation. These two men might be the reason your Facebook-addicted grandparents have become impossible to talk to. Luckily, not mine. Just want to make sure that if any of my grandparents are watching, they know that's not directed at them. Bandcamp is the Daily Wire's reaction to Disney Plus, a streaming service aimed at the eyeballs of children. It is full of copycat shows like this one. I cannot stress enough that Bandcamp was intended to be an anti-woke Disney Plus. And looking back from the year 2025, that's kind of a hilarious premise. Bandcamp exists because Disney was considered too woke, too gay, but these days, Disney Plus is being boycotted over ABC's suspension of Jimmy Kimmel, who himself was suspended for criticizing Charlie Kirk. Most left-wing people I know canceled Disney Plus earlier this year in response to this. It's almost like pandering to whatever political party is currently in power is not a great brand strategy in the long term. Chip Chilla was not originally intended to be a Bluey ripoff, and according to Jeremy Boring, it fully isn't. The original designs showcased at the Daily Wire look more like 90s Cartoon Network, but somewhere along the way, the aesthetic of the show changed, and I'm guessing the characterization of the chinchillas as well. The initial Chip Chilla promotion seems to be geared towards older kids. The Chip Chilla we got is for kids around the age of 6. I will say the animators who worked on this show and have come forward about it don't have kind things to say.
Not proud to say this, but I actually worked on this show. The animation company I worked for took this project on, but our boss didn't tell us that they were Daily Wire until a few episodes in. Right away, the animators and I said that this show is basically Bluey, but didn't complain too much. Now, the characters themselves weren't the issue. This show was hell to work on. We were not given proper assets or props, and a lot of the BGs had to be manually fixed by the animators. We also were not given walk cycles, hand poses, or anything of the sort. We had to do that all by ourselves. which was not told to us until problems started to arise. The animators worked overtime. The clients were extremely picky and constantly told us the wrong things, and will change their minds weeks onto the animation process. Everyone on my team hated working on this show, and we only found joy in the strange glitches and rig breaks that happened. Basically, we got the shit end of the stick when working on this show, and I am so glad that it is over. The show was supposed to come out early spring, but thanks to the clients, tons of things needed to be pushed back.
So I went to the official Bandcamp website and...
We're sorry, but Bandcamp is currently unavailable in your area.
Turns out Bandcamp is not available in Canada. I couldn't find the reason why, but I had to set my VPN to USA in order to use their free trial. And just like that, 3, 2, 1, blast off. Episode 1 of Chip Chilla, To the Moon, opens with an establishing shot of the house and music that is nearly identical to the establishing shots and music in Bluey. In this episode, Chilla, aka Dad, voiced by Rob Schneider, moderates a game/lesson with his kids about the space race. This, I think, is meant to establish this show's bent/mission statement, to familiarize kids with an American cultural canon. The episode opens with the eldest sister of the family, Charla Chilla, making an omelet. Kids making omelets. Now, where have I seen that before?
This episode of Bluey is called Omelette.
Okay, I'm not gonna ding the show for its similarities to Bluey every time, I promise. Making an omelet is a pretty universal experience, but it is tiresome how much this show chooses to employ universal experiences that are the exact same ones as the ones in Bluey. Lack of imagination will become a running theme. Each episode of Chip Chilla starts with a cold open, and at the end of each one, usually Dad says, "It's Chilla time."
It's Chilla time!
Breakfast time first.
Okay, breakfast time. Then, Chilla time!
This is the premise of the show. Homeschool lessons called Chilla time. This was also the original title of the show. But that brings us to problem number 1 with Chip Chilla that will continue throughout its whole run past this episode. Chilla time is the opposite of a catchy phrase. It's not really funny or clever. It's not a pun that I can figure out. It reminds me a little of Morbin time, I guess.
The best part of Chip Chilla was when he said, "It's Chilla time," and chilla'd all over those guys.
At the time of Chip Chilla's initial release, that was an almost 2-year-old meme.
I am become meme. Yeah, pretty much.
As Bluey might say, woof. Problem number 2. This episode also introduces a frequent running gag, I guess, where the adults make references to antiquated things and the kids are annoyed/confused.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for bacon kind.
Can you tell this show isn't very funny? In this episode, Chip Chilla, the main character, is upset that his big sister, Charla Chilla, gets to do everything first because she's the oldest child. Chip and Charla spend the whole episode declaring that they'll be the first person to walk on the moon, but in the end, they let their baby brother, Chubly, do it instead. The lesson here is simple. Give your little siblings a chance to do things. And that's a fine lesson. But the framing of the episode unfortunately implies that big sisters shouldn't be the first people on the moon, that they need to give up their dreams for their younger brothers, because it might hurt their feelings. The episode ends with a shooting star, for some reason. Yeah, this show is spellbinding to me because, to some degree, it understands that signifiers exist. It thinks motifs and symbols should be used in shows, but it doesn't seem to understand that signifiers signify, and that motifs and symbols are employed to help reinforce and make clear to audiences themes. What does a shooting star represent in this context? Having a dream, making a wish that it's better to burn out than fade away? That space exists? Sticking it to woke Disney? See, we can have shooting stars too. And now for a recurring segment I'm going to call Bluey Already Did This, but Better. In Season 3, Episode 24 of Bluey, Facey Talk,
This episode of Bluey is called Facey Talk.
Bluey and Bingo want to FaceTime with their cousins Muffin and Socks. Chili agrees, but on one condition. They have to take turns.
Bluey, I'm talking to you.
Yes, Mum. No hogging.
'Cause you know what happens when you hog, don't you?
Yes, we know what happens when you hog. Wait, do we?
But the issue is with Muffin. She doesn't want to give Socks a turn until she's finished drawing her cowboy hat. And even then.
Muffin Healer, give your sister a turn now.
But I want to do a cowboy hat. Just give her a turn, Muffin. No!
Muffin Cupcake Healer.
Cowboy hat.
Muffin's cowboy hat is a bit ironic, no? It's a symbol. And I'd argue it's a symbol used well. Muffin spends quite a bit of the episode acting like an outlaw. She steals her dad's phone so she can keep Facey talking, and when her dad notices, she goes on the run, hides under her bed, turns her dad into a monkey, etc. Every time, she loses her progress, and she has to start drawing her cowboy hat all over again from scratch. In the end, she loses her Facey talk privileges entirely when she drops her dad's phone in the pool, but if she had shared when she was told to, she wouldn't have lost her progress. She would, like her sister, have a full drawing done. She would get to keep her cowboy hat. And that's the thing about being a cowboy. It's a lonesome life. Also, the Chillas have a pet bug, because bugs are the animals of the Chip Chilla world, and the bug is named Bug, I think. Episode 2. Extra, extra.
Mom! Huh? Chip is not putting away his laundry.
Not now, please.
'Cause I'm busy interrogating all the stuffed animals.
This is the first episode where I noticed just how much this family argues. I began to wonder if they would argue in every episode. I think the answer is yes. I also wondered if the arguing is meant to be presented as a super average thing most families do, and the answer is pretty much. That's one thing this show consistently does. It equates misery with reality, especially the misery of children. It basically says, hey, if you're a kid, buckle up, because it only gets worse from here. In this episode, Dad moderates a game/lesson about tattling. This episode stresses the importance of print media.
Newspapers are how people stay informed, see? They've been printing them and reading them for hundreds of years. If it wasn't for us, people wouldn't know nothing about nobody.
But also equates much of journalism with tattletaling. This is an anti-cancel culture episode. Its argument is that interpersonal drama shouldn't be news.
Why is everyone mad at me? I was reporting true things.
Well, were the stories really worth telling? Real news isn't just any bad thing you see. That's just tattling.
But let's be honest. In real life, that particular criticism is overwhelmingly applied to marginalized people coming forward about abuse, like Epstein victims. This is not an anti-celebrity gossip episode, it's too pointed.
Is this what you wanted? Are you happy now?
The message appears to be that good judgment defines what's worth tattling about.
So how do I know what stories are worth telling?
Good judgment will tell you what's important. Like someone in real danger or something that's really unfair. People need to know that stuff, right?
Yes?
I'd say people should know those things right away. But don't forget about the good things you see people doing. Those are stories worth telling too. You got it?
But children can't always have good judgment. They just got here.
Sniff out those stories and use that noodle of yours to decide if they stink or if they smell like roses.
Use noodles in our noses? What?
And the idea that children must always have good judgment can put them in actual peril. It's an extension, however intentional or not, of MAGA's culture of pedophile apologia. And of course, misogyny follows us here too. When Dad introduces the journalism concept of this particular Chilla time, Chinny Chilla, aka Mommy Chilla, becomes a secretary and starts saying things like, but what do I know?
I don't know, maybe it's just about using your judgment. Oh, but what do I know? I'm just a secretary.
Don't ask me. I'm just a girl.
She sure is.
Chinny is later shamed in the same episode for eating cookies in her own kitchen.
What happened? What was that?
Extra, extra! Mom, eat all the cookies!
Maybe this is a good time to mention that Chinny Chilla is never given a personality besides sweetness femininity? I mean, she's a chinchilla who wears lipstick and jewelry. Her hair is done up in a let me speak to your manager kind of way at all times. She's a perma makeup, ultra blowout, uncanny valley mommy Chilla. All while Daddy Chilla gets to just Chilla? Let's be so for real, just for a moment. This show is the way that it is for the same reason much of MAGA is offended by Bluey. Bluey, a blue dog, is a girl. Plus, she is an outspoken little girl who talks back to her parents, has tons of hobbies and interests that she explores independently, and doesn't wear clothes or makeup that signal her femininity. This is because she's a little girl. And also, she's a dog. And dogs don't wear clothes. I mean, reactionaries who take issue with Bluey don't like that any of the healer cousins are girls either, since none of them are pink, but they especially dislike Bluey because blue is for boys and pink is for girls. They look at this cartoon dog who is a little girl and say, unironically, well, of course you have blue hair and pronouns. Well, Bluey is blue because she's a blue healer. That's the kind of dog that she is. Sure, blue healer dogs aren't actually blue, but neither are chinchillas, and it's fun. Bluey does have one little girl in it who is pink, Coco, the French poodle, but that's because she's a poodle, and poodles are frequently dyed by their owners, hopefully using pet-safe dyes intended for that exact purpose. You may have noticed by this point that the girl characters in Chip Chilla are purple and pink, while the boy characters are all blue. That's odd, given that chinchillas exist in many colors, none of which are pink, purple, or blue. But I'll stop belaboring the point. I hate this discourse because in reality, little girls should not have to project their femininity. They should get to focus on learning and experiencing new things just like little boys. Nor should they be drawn, sexualized. The fact that MAGA types insist on little girls being drawn in overtly feminine, even sexualized ways is something I find deeply disturbing. Returning to Chinny Chilla for a moment. Chinny Chilla is voiced by former Broadway big shot Laura Osnes. To make a long story short, Osnes starred on Broadway in Grease, South Pacific, Bonnie and Clyde, Anything Goes, and Cinderella. But then came the pandemic. Osnes chose not to get vaccinated, spread vaccine misinformation online, lied to her castmates about it, and upon being called out because some of her castmates were immunocompromised, left the scene. So now she, like Rob Schneider, is doing a near-constant cancel culture routine. Barry Weiss, owned the Free Press, published a piece about Osnes just a few weeks ago that paints Broadway as an ultra-left and ultra-snobby place. Interesting, since Broadway is currently full of people openly declaring their love for Charlie Kirk and going through racism scandals.
Your post, Kristen, was met with mixed reactions.
Yeah, mixed, you're being kind.
You have a big LGBTQ+ fan base.
Yeah.
You know, for members and allies in the LGBTQ+ community, Charlie was a controversial figure.
Yes.
He openly opposed same-sex marriage,
yes.
Trans rights. So I ask, what were you hoping to convey with that post?
Oh, goodness. It's no secret that that I'm a Christian, that I'm a person of faith. It's also no secret that I am an advocate for the LGBTQ+ community. And for some, that doesn't go together.
And the American way of life is very simple. I want to be able to get married, buy a home, have kids, allow them to ride their bike till the sun goes down, send them to a good school, have a low-crime neighborhood, not to have my kid be taught the lesbian, gay, transgender garbage in their school.
Since leaving Broadway, Osnes has pivoted hard right, working not just for the Daily Wire, but also the Great American Family Network. I must admit, I find it sad that Osnes, who is very talented, used to regularly perform to her full ability, but is now Mommy Chilla on Chip Chilla, a Bluey ripoff. She made her own bed. I'm not here to defend her. Seeing someone this gifted playing a character this nothing, what can I say? It evokes melancholy within me. It's the fact that she views this as her liberation that really gets me. It's sad to see women buying into what they think is enlightenment, but is actually subjugation. Mommy Chilla is not a character because she's not allowed to be. Women and girls in the Chip Chilla universe aren't really allowed interiority or accomplishments. The Chilla kids are homeschooled, so Mommy Chilla is most likely a stay-at-home mom, but we never see her teaching the kids, just Dad. Mommy cooks and cleans and tends to baby, so who's paying for all of this if Dad is also the kids' teacher? When do the kids get educated? Just during Chilla time? On weekends? Are they unschooled? You know, maybe this is an honest depiction of the average viewer of this show. Homeschooled MAGA children left undereducated, told by their parents that they can watch anything they want to on bent key. The sad thing about this episode is Charla Chilla has a genuine nose for news. She seems inspired by this task and takes it upon herself enthusiastically. But after being punished for tattling, she decides to stop looking for news and comes up with a false story about her toy unicorn. Now, where have I seen this guy before?
Esmeralda the unicorn is totally a spy.
Anyways, she takes fake news to her dad, and her dad reacts very positively to that, like, now this is news.
Now that is some crackerjack, tip-top, first-rate, A1, top of the heap, stupendous reporting.
Which, what can I say? Seems about right.
He's writing up a story about aliens, little Martians spotted around town. Now there's a story worth telling.
Tinfoil hat for this episode.
Extra, extra, it's the Chilla time.
I'm sorry, but folk music is my hyperfixation, and this Ian and Sylvia's Moonshine Can wannabe theme song, a reference surely many people will know, is egregious. Anyways, folk music. Stomp, clap, hey, ho, 2010s We Will Never Die type folk music even. Now that's a famously right-wing pro-fascist genre of music, American folk music.
We have a song that we would have to do here now.
It's called The Skeletons of Quinto. It has to do with the time that I often think about when this time of year rolls around, a time of conflict, unfortunately, and bloodshed and tragedy.
In all seriousness, I know cultural recuperation knows no bounds, comes for every alternative movement eventually, and came for folk music quite some time ago.
We saw, oh brother, where art thou? And said, let's start a band right now. Our clothing and our songs are hand-me-downs. Spoon solo!
I know that folk music is an imperfect form to say the least, and in the past 20 years especially, the genre has lost its teeth.
So say Geronimo, say Geronimo.
Still, I feel the need to mention that the band who did this theme song, Scythian, is far from well respected in the folk scene. They are known mostly for wanting to perform at the March for Marriage, a 2013 anti-gay marriage protest that originally included a concert, then didn't end up including a concert. Key members of this band formed a new band called Ultramont to attend. That's what, a Tradcath doctrine joke combined with a play on Altamont? Are you at all familiar with the history of this genre of music?
All you fascists bound to lose. I said, all you fascists bound to lose. Don't try to buy no home down in Washington, D.C., cause it's a place for town.
A bullet from the back of a bush took Medgar Evers' blood.
Don't you know they're talking about a revolution? It sounds like whisper.
I learned that Washington never told a lie. I learned that soldiers seldom die.
It's always the old to lead us to the wars. Always the young to fall.
You can take my body, you can take my bones, you can take my blood, but not my soul.
Be the first one on your block to have your boy come home in the docks. All right. 1, 2, 3. What are we fighting for? Don't ask me, I don't give a damn. The next stop is Vietnam. I do believe.
Do you think Ben Shapiro's guitar has "This Machine Loves Fascists" painted on it? Episode 3, Dr. Frankenchip. In this episode, Dad moderates a game/lesson about control, told through the story of Frankenstein. And right off the bat, they give a disclaimer.
Now, there have been many different versions of this story, books, movies, even cartoons, but one thing always remains the same: a mad scientist and his monster.
Knowing just how much this novel means to so many people, I wanted to hear from someone who loves Frankenstein. As much as it pains me to expose anyone to this show, I decided to reach out to my friend David J. Bradley. Here's how our viewing went.
Jesus Christ, what's that?
David pointed out that the undead Chubbly angle becomes a bit morbid when you remember that Mary Shelley herself lost 3 children and was greatly devastated by this loss.
Well, one of the chief things that kind of inspired her to write Frankenstein was that her child died very young. And that's why it's a book about someone who suffers a tragic loss and then wants to try and get control over death. What the creature is in every adaptation is a thing made of dead bodies, that you're casting the baby as that.
We also talked about the idea presented here that the point of the novel Frankenstein is you can't control everything. Spoiler alert, it's really not.
A mad scientist who thought he could control anything.
Pause. A scientist who thought he could control anything. This is a flawed premise immediately. I mean, obviously, there's the element of, like, you can't play God, but it's like, how applicable is that to our everyday life? I don't know. Don't control people, but also get homeschooled by your dad who knows everything.
It's like, don't control people, live under control instead.
He also told me about other adaptations of Frankenstein for children that he'd seen, and how they handled the more macabre elements of the story.
They're kind of skipping over how Frankenstein made the monster. Because I was thinking about, like, kind of kid-friendly versions of Frankenstein, and, like, one I've got is, it's like a Disney Donald Duck Frankenstein comic. And in that one, he makes the creature out of cardboard.
Cute.
It's like, it's very odd, but at the same time, it's like, that is like a way to go, like, hey, we're not going to touch any of, like, the incredibly morbid, genuinely upsetting stuff in this comic for children. So we're just going to make it something very silly instead.
David also pointed out that the childhood the Chilla children are meant to model, wow, that was a hard sentence to say, this kind of socially isolated homeschooling in ways mirrors Frankenstein's monster and his relationship with the world around him.
It did kind of make me raise my eyebrows and go, oh, that's what the show's about. Because obviously, like, homeschooling, like, if it's done right, it can be done well. You know, there are people who do homeschool their kids and they do genuinely try to get them, like, a wide variety of experiences and knowledge and all these things, but there's also a kind where they do it very much to isolate them and indoctrinate them into a very specific way of looking at the world, which is what I'm getting the feeling this is. That's the thing, is, like, if you want your kids to read, like, the great books later on down the line, start them off on the ones that are appropriate for them. Do the best you can to find the good books for kids, because obviously there's a bunch of crap ones. Encouraging them the curiosity and the enthusiasm to want to search those things out for themselves. You can't just kind of force these on them and go, this is a great book. The show and, like, kind of the conservative message it represents can't really engage with that as a narrative, because it suggests the idea that the parent could be wrong. Why, from what you've described of Bluey, why that show is, like, so connects with people and works better is because it's a show where the parents engage with the children on their level, and as opposed to things that are just like lectures, basically.
In addition, David was kind enough to tell me about their cat, who is named Frankenstein. We have no choice but to stan.
Yeah, but your cat is named...
He is named Frankenstein.
Woohoo! Yay! Sorry, to me that's a needle drop.
The wonderful coincidence, I wanted to name a cat after Frankenstein, and then when I looked at the cat shelter, there was a cat named Frank already there. And I was like, that's my cat.
I posted a longer segment of our conversation on Patreon, and I did that for all the viewings of Chip Chilla in this video actually, so you can head there to hear David explain to me where the phrase, "I'm a baby, gotta love me," comes from. This episode, like all the rest, has its fair share of misogyny. Boys get to play scientists, girls get to play assistants. Regarding control as a theme, there is a great episode of Bluey that's also about control called Helicopter, and I think it's a fantastic example of how to make this theme compelling for children. Bluey's having a day in which she feels out of control. She usually goes to her friend Honey's house after school on Wednesdays, but because of a scheduling issue, she can't. So she takes her feelings out on a game of Helicopter. At first, she tries to control each game to her own specifications, but she finds it's more fun to play when she lets other kids contribute. She learns to embrace the fact that things don't always go as expected, and that's part of what makes life fun. Episode 4, Chilla Swap. In this episode, Dad moderates a game/lesson in which the parents and kids switch places. Kids are in charge, and parents must listen. I haven't talked about Rob Schneider yet, so here goes. If you're out of the loop and wondering what an ex-SNL cast member and former movie star is doing here, Schneider took a hard pivot right a few years back, and now pretty much exclusively works on projects like this one. Go watch my friend Maggie Mae Fish's video on his show if you're curious, link in description. In Chip Chilla, he gives a typical Rob Schneider performance.
Oh yeah? Well, guess what? You two are the parents, and me and Mom are the kids.
What?
Yep.
He's quirky, sure, but pretty one note. And certainly not charming, especially when compared to Bandit Healer. Hot take on Bandit. Despite being pretty much universally adored, I think Bandit is a frequently misunderstood character. I only ever seem to see him characterized as a zany wonder dad, but I seldom see it mentioned that the whole fun dad trademark symbol angle only works because he's so sardonic and dry.
I wish I wasn't different.
Oh man, the songs.
I wish I wasn't different.
Look, mate, I'm pretty sure that by the end of the movie, everyone will like that the monkey was different.
If Bandit weren't this grounded, the show would be far more saccharine. It might even cease to work. Bandit takes things too far sometimes.
And here's the second package. Okay, delivery over. Now I've got to get back to work.
Oh, come on. One more.
No.
And Chili, by the way, can be pretty high-strung. She needs her fair share of alone time, which is a sadly rare character trait in a TV mom.
I need 20 minutes when no one comes near me.
Bluey's parents are still quite ideal, but their dimensions elevate the show.
All holiday you've been mean to your little brother.
You can't tic-tac, Stripe. It's my turn now. No, it isn't. Nice stack.
This is a chance for you to have a good think about it.
Nana was right. Not about a perm, but about me. I hadn't been a very good brother to Stripe.
In this episode alone, Mommy Chilla apologizes for interrupting.
That's like us. We switched places. Oh, look at me, I'm interrupting.
Now let's forget our troubles with a big bowl of strawberry ice cream.
And it's dads who fix things.
Last I checked, it's dads who fix things.
I'm going to be honest, I straight up don't like this guy. It's Chilla time doesn't mean anything, and the more I hear it, the less I can tolerate it.
It's Chilla time!
When in this episode the kids blast the air conditioner, he gets so visibly angry about it, it's disturbing. This is the point at which he started serving Jack Torrance's realness to me. Eccentric, impulsive, overbearing, and always smiling in this way that betrays depths of repressed anger.
That's swell. I like you, Lloyd. I always liked you.
That's great, Dad.
This episode, you see, is an argument for authoritarianism, for the importance of higher-ups to make and enforce strict rules. Otherwise, every day would be chaos. Kids in charge, blasting the AC and using the waffle iron.
What are you two looking at?
Oh, there's a waffle stuck on the ceiling.
Why is there a waffle stuck on the ceiling?
'Cause I threw it there.
And why did you throw it there?
To see if it would stick. Duh.
But the situation they present is one that could be resolved by a simple conversation. Again, kids are human beings. You can hypothetically explain to your children why they shouldn't do stuff and why they can't. That seems like the logical first step. I've seen it happen in real life, and, it happens on Bluey all the time. There are many Bluey episodes, in fact, that involve the importance of children having autonomy.
Sometimes you play a bit too rough with me.
Oh, bingo, really? Oh, sorry, Buster, I didn't realize.
But Dad, we don't want you to stop playing with us.
Oh, okay.
I'm just gonna get better at using my bingo box.
Okay, well, let's practice.
Okay.
This sort of conversation never happens in Chip Chilla. Kids do things because adults say so or else. Consequences don't seem to be a thing that exist, except when enforced by parents. The premise of each Chip Chilla episode feels so forced, so contrived, so far removed from reality that it gets a little surrealist, a little Lynchian.
Hear me out. We'd become penguins. What? No. We are going to find our winter jackets in the attic. No, those are in the playroom closet. No! Mom puts them there in the winter, but stores them in the attic in Chili! No more harmonica!
The millennial-aged dad, who I think looks like Fred Durst and the dad from I Saw the TV Glow, whom I've just been informed by my wife while recording was played by Fred Durst, so that's no coincidence, loves doing American activities, like playing baseball indoors with an American flag bat.
No can do. Don't wanna.
Something Americans love to do.
Give me the bat. 20. Give me the bat.
But that surreal tone, combined with the lack of consequences, also means none of the conflict presented feels real, even when it should have real consequences. A waffle iron burning the house down is serious, but if consequences can only be delivered by the parents, what then? The world of Chip Chilla is absurdly safe enough that the parents often lose track of their children as the series goes on. They expect that the whole world will keep them safe. And unfortunately, as much as I'd like that to be true, that's not real life. People get cold enough to hurt. If your AC breaks down during a heat wave, you can die. If the power bill gets too high, you can't afford it. If a waffle iron burns the house down, you no longer have a house. This is the consequence of writing a show for kids based in ideology rather than in learning. It's not just incongruous, it's enforced doublethink. And it's doubly funny when you consider that schools like the ones Bluey goes to are structured around teaching kids basic yet important tangible skills like using tools. There is a gentle, loosely constructed The Prince and the Pauper motif in this episode.
Boy, how come those Prince and Pauper guys had it so great when they swapped?
But the way they explain the book is not really how the book goes.
The Prince was sick of all the rules he had to follow. And the pauper didn't like being poor, so they decided to swap and be the other person. The pauper learned that being a prince was hard work. And the prince discovered that life without his responsibilities wasn't easy either. So they both agreed to swap back. The end.
To my recollection, and it's been a few years, the plot of The Prince and the Pauper goes more like this. Prince Edward, after being beaten and brutalized, having witnessed how awful life as a pauper is, how unforgiving wealth inequality and the penal system is within the kingdom in particular, proves his identity and then vows to reign as a good and merciful king.
I guess we can all learn a lot by living a day in someone else's shoes.
But Lola, you love Barbie as the Princess and the Pauper. You may be shouting if you were my best friend George. That is true. My favorite Barbie animated feature is hardly faithful to its source material and takes the same general approach as Chip Chilla. But that film, yes I said film, has a lot going for it. Chip Chilla is never going to have a fop villain played by Martin Short, and a musical number as excellent as Written in Your Heart. And take that as a challenge, why not? Chilla is voiced by a singer. Chip Chilla, give me a musical number as excellent as Written in Your Heart. This is the episode of the show where I began to feel seriously overstimulated. Chattermax levels of overstimulation. I had to take a break and read a book for a while, and I'm not kidding or just saying that. This show is way more stimulating than Bluey. True slop. A tinfoil hat for this episode. I noticed that the child actors who play these kids are named in the opening credits sequence, which is something Bluey doesn't do for ethical and safety reasons. Fan bases, especially those full of adults, can be dangerous, especially toward child actors. I hope these kids are being kept safe. Episode 5, The 3 Chillateers. Whew, Bent Key is so broken I could barely even use it to watch this show. Not a great sign. In this episode, Dad moderates a game/lesson about the 3 Musketeers. Chilla, as women are wont to do, has lost her creepy little chinchilla earring. Oh no! So the kids go on a quest, allegedly inspired by the 3 Musketeers, to find it. Look, at least the Barbie movies of the early 2000s often maintained thematic resonance with their source material. They weren't always faithful, but they were faithful in spirit. Erica, compared to Annalise, lives a hard, undesirable life as an indentured servant in the textile industry.
I would have said a debtor's prison.
Keep laughing. You'll be working for me for another 37 years.
But I've already paid off more than half.
But there's an interest, isn't there? Your parents should have thought of that before they borrowed so much.
They did it to feed me.
Their mistake.
Someone keeps putting literary references in Chip Chilla without understanding the basic messages of said stories.
The Three Musketeers is a book about French swashbuckling swordsmen who work together to fight for justice. The number of musketeers isn't important. What is important is that they work together to do what's right.
Sure, but once again, it is foremost a class narrative. The Three Musketeers is an anti-authoritarian, anti-war text. It depicts monarchs and the upper class in general as foolish, out of touch, selfish, and unfeeling. But notice how these kids are never encouraged to read the books their dad is referencing. In fact, the kids hate reading, and why shouldn't they? They're pretty much discouraged from reading.
And now I shall take over the story. I shall use lots of voices, I shall use lots of details that you won't even remember. So then...
And then some other stuff happened. The end. I'm bored.
Yeah, that story is boring.
Man, I was always taught that having fun isn't hard when you've got a library card. I used to be at the top of my library's leaderboard during summer reading months, but I guess I was just way cooler than these kids when I myself was their age. This, to me, feels like a microcosm of the Daily Wire's agenda. It creates content that keeps people in a bubble, and enough of it that, if they choose, they never have to interact with the outside world. For as much as figures like Ben Shapiro love to say lefties like myself live in echo chambers, I'm on here talking about one of the most popular children's show of all time and how great it is. Your kids have to watch Chip Chilla. In this episode, the kids are allowed to do the thing that literally killed Leslie in Bridge to Terabithia, but not use the stove. It's like anti-Montessori homeschooling. Go get lost in the woods, but do not, under any circumstances, make toast. This is another episode about how you should be nice to your baby brother, which unfortunately the show kind of needs at this point because the kids treat their little brother rather begrudgingly.
Rocks like that are for throwing, kicking, and sometimes smushing things, not for wearing. You took us off the path. Chubbly, we were almost there. No more interfering, Chubbs.
The resolution is contrived. Chinny's earring is in a log because of course it is. And Chubbly is small enough to retrieve it, which makes him useful. This is like that episode of Bluey where little tiny Palm is the one who tips the scales, except if Palm was in every episode and the kids had to learn that lesson over and over the course of the series. Tinfoil hat for this episode. This is the one where I noticed just how violent the play between these kids tends to be. Chip loves tetherball because he loves punching the tetherball.
My favorite part about tetherball, bam, is all the punching I get to do.
Episode 6, Chillympics. In this episode, Dad moderates a game/lesson about humility and practice, allegedly, by throwing a chinchilla Olympics.
Ready for the Olympics. I mean, Chillympics. It's Chillympics time!
Okay, I'm fully anti-chum-chum pilled at this point in my watch-through. It's the constant self-aggrandizement that's not a joke that did it for me.
Chum Chum Chilla, the coolest dad alive, will demonstrate. And no surprise, Chum Chum takes the lead.
Wow, you didn't miss a shot, Gaston! You're the greatest hunter in the whole world!
I know.
This dude does not check if his kid is okay when he gets hit in the head either.
Oh, right to the head. Let's watch that again on replay, is what I'd say if we had replay.
And I just have to ask, when is Chum Chum supposed to be making, like, cardboard torches? Does he just buy them from a catalog, like Vacation Bible School? Is every Chilla time a different VBS curriculum? Is he wholesaling Oriental Trading Company catalogs, AliExpress? So in this episode, the family does a few sporty challenges together, and Chip doesn't do as well as he'd hoped. He sulks inside, and Chinny Chilla comes to comfort him.
I just don't get it. I thought I would would be great at all of these games. But I'm not even good at them.
You're right. You're not good at them. But you could be. Especially now that you realize that you're not.
What?
To be excellent at something, to be the very best, takes a lot of practice, hard work, and humility. So, humbly admitting you're not as good as you thought is a pretty great first step.
This is not the worst lesson in the world, but Chip doesn't humbly commit himself to practicing running. He wins the next race because he's good at running and he's already practiced for his whole life. As it plays out, this is a boring and pretty unsympathetic narrative. Kid starts good at one thing, ends up good at one thing, is resentful of his family for outshining him at other things. There's a reason almost every good sports film has training montages, genuine stakes, and loving families. There's no attempt here to teach Chip that disappointment happens and that handling it gracefully is important, or that you should be happy for the people you love when they accomplish things too. When I was in the 4th or 5th grade, I signed up for a track meet because I love running. Still do, actually. I did the worst of all the kids in the entire competition, and I went home with a participation ribbon that made me feel even worse. But I got over it pretty fast because my friend Kat won the whole thing, and her dad took us back to their place for an impromptu pizza party. I was so happy for her that I forgot my participation ribbon in the back of her dad's car. There's this episode of Bluey called Squash.
This episode of Bluey is called Squash,
in which Bandit and his younger brother Stripe, aka Uncle Stripe, go head-to-head in squash. Bandit is the superior player, and he gloats his successes.
Big brothers always beat little brothers. That's just the way it goes.
Yeah, that's just the way it goes.
But when Uncle Stripe sees just how much his loss is affecting Bingo, he hopes that older siblings don't always win.
You'll probably have a better chance of winning with your dad.
No, I want us to win.
Oh, really? Why's that?
Because big sisters don't always beat little sisters. There, I fixed you.
Yeah, Bingo. You did.
So he strikes back hard and beats the odds. His win is so rewarding for the audience because it's earned.
I guess little brothers can beat big brothers.
Yep, that's just the way it goes.
Tinfoil hat for this episode. I think this is an anti-trans episode in disguise. Charla and Chip are simply good at different things, but equal, see? It's baloney. Next. Episode 7. Ahab Goes Bananas. Chilla, Chilly. The mom from Bluey is called Chilly, so this is called Chilla. It's chiller, then Chilly. It's Chilla. I think this is starting to get to me. In this episode, Dad moderates a game/lesson about taking things too far, using the story of Moby Dick. Sort of. For this episode, I talked to Jose, as well as our friend Zoe B, who runs a channel dedicated to rhetoric and literacy. Also, we all do a podcast together that will be starting up again soon. I showed them a few episodes of the show, so they'll make a few appearances throughout. I really hope you don't mind. They're both incredibly smart and really good friends of mine.
What do you two know about Chip Chilla?
Well, I know that Jose knows more than me because he's actually talked about it. So I don't know much. I know it's a project from the Daily Wire that is for kids. It's supposed to kind of compete with Bluey. I don't know if they've ever said that, but at least very obviously the visual style and I think that that's what they were going for, even if they don't admit that it was.
As far as my knowledge about Chip Chilla, it mostly comes in how it relates to the BentKey streaming service. I know it was a part of a major initiative by the Daily Wire to invest in children's entertainment. It was their flagship show, starring the biggest celebrity that would agree to do something, Rob Schneider, which says a lot right there. I know they were very coy about the connection to Bluey in the interviews I've seen, that it wasn't deliberate, but it seems kind of clear once you actually put them side by side. And the show itself is very drab and kind of depressing. I know they believed in it a lot and they really tried to push it. I don't know if it was, I mean, might have been the most successful of their original shows, but on a failing streaming service, what does that really say?
Notably, the animators all hated working on this show.
It's interesting because the other animated show they did, Mr. Bircham, where the animation studio talked about how they had like no time or money to work on this thing, and they ended up producing something that Mr. Bircham looks like almost, in some cases, Flash animation. It's so rough.
Do you guys mind if I subject you to a little bit of Bluey? They're very short.
Yeah, they're also good, so.
Exactly.
Oh, where was the animation studio that worked on Chip Chilla? Just out of curiosity.
Oh, yeah. They're all from the Philippines.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
It is interesting, right? Because every Daily Wire show is like, we're all American, but then they hire like exclusively outside of the USA.
Yeah, there are no animation studios in the US, I guess.
What did she give you?
Everything.
How we feeling, fam?
Lola, you can't do this to me.
It's very sweet.
I'm fine.
Okay, one more, then sleepy time.
Hooray! This episode of Bluey is called Sleepy Time.
Remember, I'll always be here for you, even if you can't see me. Because I love you.
How we feeling?
I'm fine.
I'm feeling good.
Also, like the music, it's...
Yeah, I really like the music.
And now that you know what is at stake.
I was gonna say, it feels almost like cruel to put Chip Chilla directly after that.
There comes to a point where excellence is so excellent that it seems like just an absolute terrible idea to try and rip it off at that point. I think part of the problem is, too, it reminds you of something better. It's like, oh yeah, this is just like that other show, but that other show did it way better.
I think that it really indicates that they think so little of kids that kids won't be able to tell the difference.
Oh, yeah, I get that vibe so much from like the Daily Wire in general with their whole kids show endeavor. They don't respect children.
Yeah, like none of these, I mean, not that, there isn't a problem with that in media in general, but like especially on the right, like whether it's the Daily Wire or PragerU, like they think so little of kids. It's like they think kids are like stupid and entirely passive and just, they have
they're
no
like
respect
empty
for them.
vessels waiting to receive their propaganda.
Exactly.
Ooh, I am gonna show you Chip Chilla now. I'm so sorry.
You're saying it's actually Chilla time?
Yes, it's Chilla time.
Yeah, she said it.
Just shout stop when you want to stop.
Perfect.
Stop.
My copy of Moby Dick. It's Chilla time.
I'm gonna turn it down.
I thought I was
Here, you
ready
guys.
for this.
You are a madman on the high seas with one obsession. Get the white whale.
The whale be mine.
How you feeling, Zoe?
I have already started like taking notes. Okay, so number one,
Oh, and Jose, you're also here. But this one, I'm like, Zoe has to suffer through the Moby Dick one, I think.
It's so like telling the way that the parent is the one like guiding. It's like, you are this. I know this is pretend and that we're, but I will tell you what your role is. And that is that.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, already in contrast to Bluey, where the kids are the ones leading the play, this is like the parents dictating it.
Get the white whale.
The whale be mine.
And this is your crew, Starbuck, Ismail, and Queequeg. Yes, that's a real name, by the way, Queequeg.
I don't know if this is technically lampshading, but it feels like lampshading. The like, yeah, that's actually what the character is called. Either take the story seriously or don't,
Oh, totally. It drives me... I'm the one going bananas here. Claims to love literature, but doesn't respect it in the slightest.
Yeah.
Zoe, not once in the series are the kids encouraged to actually read these books.
What? What?
Exactly.
What? That...
Yeah. The dad just shows up. He's like, we're playing novel. You're playing these characters. Go. But the kids have never read the books and they don't know anything about them. So dad has all of control.
This is how Matt Walsh treats his children? Do you think that this is how Matt Walsh would treat his children if he didn't think it was gay to play with them? Ugh. All right.
Kind of speaks to the way I've seen a lot of like conservative commentators talk about art. And I think they don't like it for anything it actually is, but see it more as just cultural ephemera to sort of signify an appreciation of art. It reminds me, I once heard the story about Pedro Pascal when he was on the set of, I think it was like The Last of Us or something. And he had to like take aside like one of the people who worked on the game who was like trying to be a director. And he just asked him, do you actually like art? And the guy like was apparently taken back by it completely. And the more I think about that, it's like, what would drive someone to ask that question? And now I feel like I could ask that about every like conservative commentator when they talk about anything related to art or entertainment. Like, do you actually like this? Or do you see it as like something to consume to get your entertainment?
Pedagogically, it disturbs me because I feel as though there is none. Or at least it's like completely isolationist, reactionary parenting.
Yeah, I think that you're absolutely right.
In the book, Queequeg and Ishmael are like a couple. They're married, actually. Like they get married and they sleep in the same bed. And Ishmael keeps being like, "It's so great to climb back in bed with my like man wife." Queequeg every night. And in this, they're just like, oh yeah, the baby is Queequeg. Yes, that is a real name. And therefore, we're never talking about Queequeg again. Because if we did, and if you read this book, you might find out that it's kind of gay. And I'm just kind of like, maybe don't cover Moby Dick then?
Very dismissive of the wife early on. Good.
I was just going to say, they're nicer to her in this episode than usual.
I'll be using my monster truck submarines now.
Honestly, Moby Dick would have been so much better with monster truck submarines.
Sorry, how does he know how Ahab talks?
It's a kid's show. It's not that deep.
Now you listen here.
It's not that deep, bro.
I genuinely,
I'm sorry, I can't.
I know that you just say it as a joke, but I'm genuinely getting like mad over here just hearing it. Because it's like, that's how you get like kids entertainment that's this.
Whale wrecking ball!
He was fully committed to just killing that animal.
I think we got a little carried away, buddy.
Oh, but I didn't mean to.
Well, there are consequences for taking things too far. Ahab wanted to catch the whale so bad, he destroyed everything around him. Sound like anyone you know? But you're not alone, Ahab. In this case, so did the whale.
Okay, so... this is like breaking my brain. So if the dad knew the story and like knew the moral that he wanted the children to take from this,
right?
Then why did he engage in it anyway? Is the dad
It's like the
main
whale in Moby
character?
Dick. That whale, he needs to take some of the blame too, right, folks?
For sure.
That was
for
the book.
The show is simultaneously trying to be like, see, we read Moby Dick, we know what happens. The ship gets destroyed. All right.
Then why would he let his wife spend all that time in
You're the one who like not only indulged in everything that Chip wanted to do, but set up all of these kinds of ridiculous scenarios involving elaborate props and whatever.
Or like take a cushion off the couch and just use your imagination that it's a ship.
I was thinking to myself watching this, how many times do they have elaborate props and sets in Bluey and costumes and shit? It's like the message seems to be the more shit you can buy your kids, the better childhood they'll have.
Like, is he the main character of this show?
Yeah, pretty much.
I thought that his child was like
Hey, it's starring Rob Schneider, okay? Rob Schneider doesn't share the spotlight.
That's true. I forgot about that.
So this is something I observed about the show as well. Technically, Chip is the main character, but the hierarchy in the family goes dad, Chip, then mom, then older sister, then baby.
Then the bug dog.
Oh yeah, and then bug.
It feels very like mean-spirited.
I think we're done narrating. Charla was in fact not done narrating, but had only begun. She continued on, declaring that...
Blowhole!
Wow, Charla's so desperate to be relevant.
Oh, every single episode, Charla's like, can I be the first man on the moon? And Dad's like, no, that's for boys.
It is absolute middle child energy.
She's the eldest.
She's the eldest?
Yes.
But
she's a girl.
There's no excuse. Oh, right, she's a girl. So she's basically, yeah.
They made her the narrator. Like, no one wants to be the narrator.
It's because men do things and women talk about things.
I'm not beating those allegations. Women be talking.
Women do be talking.
Ironically, that's how all these people made their money.
Episode 8, Community Garage Sale Day. This is probably most reviewers' least favorite episode of this show, so in this episode, Dad moderates a game/lesson about the value of $1. As in, every kid gets $1, and whoever can use it to bring back the most valuable item with it wins. I am once again joined by my pal Jose, who had the most patience for watching Chip Chilla with me and discussing it. Zoe had to go eat dinner, hang out with her husband, and cuddle her cat. She's a monster for that, by the way.
What?
It's this thing where he pursues Chip for at least a block or two.
Yeah, when that happened, I'm like, it seems like you're bad parents. Like, what is the dad doing? I understand the mom's with the baby, like, shopping, but, like, the dad is just wearing his glitter jacket and hanging out.
He's doing an impression, obviously. The most important part of parenting.
I would love to see, like, in between these moments, we just see him, like, sitting back drinking a beer and, like, this is my Chilla time. He's a pretty bad dad. And it's, like, weird because he has the presentation of being a very involved and supportive parent, but he's not. He's just there to sort of give them an activity and then he kind of checks out.
Right. Like, he truly believes the responsibility of a dad is essentially to be like the responsibility of a CEO. You know, he's like, I'm going to sit in this chair and eat candy and you guys come talk to me if you have any problems. And then
I've assigned you play. Why haven't you completed your play yet?
Right. And then at the end of the day, when you've completed your play, come back for your next assignment.
Your report. Give me a report on what the play taught you.
Yes, sir, that's mine.
You like dinosaurs, huh? Come over here. I want to show you something. Take a look at this.
Whoa, you like dinosaurs too?
Like them? I love them.
I do think it's a bit strange for an adult to like invite you into his garage right after you meet them to see your like dinosaur collection. That seems like something that would never happen.
Let's see what our contestants brought back. Did they find cheap trash or valuable treasure? Contestant number 1.
Voila! It's old, it's beautiful, and I love it. Took some haggling, but got it for $1.
Well, if you love it, it's got value.
He's like, oh, ho, ho. Well, if you like it, then it's fine. And I'm like, she bought a painting in a frame for $1. That's worth something, even if it's like, actually, especially if it's something someone painted themselves.
Yeah. Sorry, Charla, your report is wrong. Chip, right on the money.
He doesn't say go make friends with a neighbor. You just kind of have to guess. And it's interesting because at the start of the episode, he's like, no, things that are old aren't inherently worthless junkety junk, which makes me think that the episode is supposed to be, you know, about how sometimes things are old and still valuable. And I guess in a way it sort of is because the neighbor is old but valuable, but that seems like kind of an objectifying way to view your neighbor.
Yeah, because they seem to mean value as in monetary value.
She's like, oh, I get it. Money is the great equalizer. Finally, I can, you know, win a game using my haggling skills. They'll see me as a human being if I'm wealthy, even though I'm a girl.
I mean, this sort of reveals that sexism and patriarchy are so deeply baked into society, it predates even capitalism. This is a very deep societal rot we have in us.
On to contestant number 2. Trash or treasure?
Chubby found a very nice fireplace bellow.
Your ranking of putting Chubby at the very bottom, I think, got shaken up by this one because he was clearly in charge of Mom in this one. Chubby outranked Chinny.
Sorry about the broken vase. Yeah, but I did make a friend, Mr. Rabbit. He's the coolest guy. He likes dinosaurs and he's super funny. And he's got a real dinosaur tooth. And he said I can come back anytime.
Wow. Sounds like you did find something of value, buddy. And it didn't cost you a thing.
Yeah, Dad. I did.
I'm very confused. I don't know what the dad was trying to do with that lesson. What that whole, like, here's $1, go get something.
Why? Show them the value of $1, of course.
But then the $1's worthless at the end because it doesn't match the power of friendship. So
Right,
what was the
so-
point of the lesson?
Even when Charla wins the game, they're just like, just kidding,
she always
Chip
wins,
is
of
the
course.
real winner.
It's like, sorry, Charla, you and your materialism don't really compare to the emotional connection Chip made. And I know we set this game up as if you could win it, but you didn't realize you're not actually playing the game. It's sort of making an interesting statement about the role women have in society. They're like playing a game where they think they can win, but they don't realize the boys can just not play the game and beat them.
Tinfoil hat for this episode. I googled George Washington Duck and found out there are these super neat ducks called crested ducks that look like they're wearing powdered wigs. Cute joke. I love birds. Episode 9, Chip's Odyssey. In this episode, Dad moderates a game/lesson about bravery, referencing the story of the Odyssey.
Greetings! I am Homer, the ancient Greek poet of the Odyssey. A story about a brave hero named Odysseus and his dangerous journey back home after the Trojan War.
When I saw the title of this episode, I made a noise my wife described as my soul leaving my body. I'm a lifelong Odyssey obsessive ever since my dad read it to me as a child. I went on to study modernist lit, particularly James Joyce's Ulysses, which is itself a retelling of the Odyssey. Also, my wife is Irish, and we initially bonded over Ulysses, so this entry will be shorter and meaner than the rest.
Today, one of you shall become the brave Odysseus. You will face many dangers, but you will face them to return to the family that you love. Are you, Odysseus, ready to go on an adventure of bravery?
Her? Me? Charla's afraid of everything. Not that I want to agree with Chip, but I am afraid of lots of stuff.
Bravery isn't having no fear. It's facing and overcoming your fear. So you will make the perfect Odysseus.
This probably goes without saying if you're a viewer of my channel, but the Odyssey is not really a story about bravery or any one theme. That's a pretty reductive way to view the Odyssey and Greek epics. In fact, Greek heroes aren't heroes in the modern sense, but to keep this a little more brief, I'll just focus on Odysseus. Odysseus is brave from the start of his journey. In fact, his hubris is out of control.
Well, didn't look like a one-horse town, but try finding a decent hair jelly.
His excessive foolhardiness and arrogance is what incites the rage of Poseidon. Odysseus defeats the Cyclops using the name Nobody or No Man, but after the Cyclops is defeated, he changes his mind and reveals his true name.
Hi, Lola. When I'd gone as far as shouts can carry, I jeered back, "Hey you, Cyclops, idiot. The crew trapped in your cave did not belong to some poor weakling. Well, you had it coming. You had no shame at eating your own guests, so Zeus and other gods have paid you back." My taunting made him angrier. He ripped a rock out of the hill and hurled it at us. It landed right in front of our dark prow and almost crushed the tip of the steering oar. My crew begged me to stop and pleaded with me, "Please, calm down. Why are you being so insistent and taunting this wild man?" But my tough heart was not convinced. I was still furious and shouted back again, "Cyclops! If any mortal asks you how your eye was mutilated and made blind, say that Odysseus, the city slacker, Laertes' son, who lives in Ithaca, destroyed your sight."
That's the thing about Odysseus. All of the bad decisions he makes anger the gods and punish him to a far more prolonged journey home than anticipated. That's part of why it's so impactful when in Ithaca he breaks bread with his wife's suitor, Amphinomus, who seems like a sweet kid, and Odysseus basically warns him not to come to school tomorrow.
Take note of what I say. Of all the creatures that live and breathe and creep on earth, we humans are weakest. When the gods bestow on us good fortune and our legs are spry and limber, we think that nothing can ever go wrong. But when the gods bring misery and pain, We have to bear our suffering with calm. Our mood depends on what Zeus sends each day. I once had what most people count as wealth, great riches. I committed many crimes of violence, abuses of my power, abetted by my brothers and my father. No one should turn away from what is right. A man should quietly accept whatever the gods may give.
Odysseus is admitting here that he seems like a man in control, but what his long journey home has taught him is that he really isn't. He lost everything and no one is going to give it back to him. He has to go get it himself by killing a bunch of dudes who are creeping on his wife. I think I figured out at this point that Chip Chilla is trying to do the Simpsons Treehouse of Horror thing with literature.
Here I opened wide the door.
This better be good.
Darkness there, and nothing more.
Huh? You know what would have been scarier than nothing? What? Anything!
But the Simpsons writers are media literate. At least in the first few seasons, you get the distinct impression that the writer's room is full of Lisas. They're the Raven, maybe the best adaptation of it. Chip Chilla is more like this infomercial.
Troy, I brought with me the gravestone of author and troubled soul Edgar Allan Poe.
One of our best writers.
Yes, but unfortunately, a century of neglect has turned this tombstone into a depressing eyesore.
So what? I guess we're gonna have to throw it away.
Not so fast, Troy. With one application of Spiffy, you'll think the body's still warm.
Ooh. Quoth the Raven, what a shine.
This is another episode where the parents just let their children take off and wander around without supervision. It's not like their property backs into a forest as far as I can tell. They're just heading out into some local woods or... what? Are those vines? Is that meant to be kudzu? Where is this set? Actually, forget I asked. Compare the local creek in Bluey, which is set distinctly in Brisbane, and compare it to this forest. At what point does this sort of thing cross over into plagiarism? Genuine question. This episode lets Charla use a weapon and be an active participant in a story game. Finally. But it doubles down on misogyny to make up for it. Even the letters on their door use bizarrely gendered fonts. Boys get sports fonts. Girls get pink cursive.
Make me be the Cyclops. I'm 10 times braver than Charla. I'll show them.
Man, not every episode of this show can be Chip having a tantrum over Charla also being loved by her parents.
Oh no! Oh no! They won't let go! I'm being eaten alive! Ah! Chip? Chip? Gotcha! I ain't scared.
Little girls, am I right? Scared of everything. One of the least true stereotypes of all time. We are also treated to this made-up squirrel. I can't look at this anymore. I have to move on. Tinfoil hat for this episode. Even the way Bandcamp forces autoplay after I've paused each episode encourages mindless consumption. That's actually what I love about literature, at least in part. It's hard to consume it mindlessly. I mean, you could, but you'd gain nothing from it. In this episode, Dad moderates a game/lesson about George Washington. This may surprise you to hear, but I'm not opposed to the premise of the show. A dad teaching his kids about American history through play is a decent idea in the right hands, but these hands, I'm afraid, are not the right ones. I say this as someone who used to be this kid.
I think I know more about American football than you do.
The problem with this show is not its historical fixation, nor I dare say its uniquely American identity. It's that the history being taught is half denialism and half revisionism with just a sprinkle of folklore on top. So we've established that this show, like Bluey, centers on a dad teaching his kids lessons through play. But now I want to talk about the most crucial difference between these two texts. The one I began to outline in the introduction of this video. In Bluey, play is pedagogy. Let me explain. Bluey goes to Glass House Primary School, which we can infer based on its appearance, location, and curriculum is a Steiner Waldorf school. For one, Waldorf schools are all built out of natural materials in rounded shapes because Rudolf Steiner was an architect, and to way oversimplify, he considered the environment kids are raised in to be of the utmost importance. Not to mention that Glass House Primary School is likely based on Brisbane's own Glass House Mountain State School, an actual, for real life Waldorf school. I'm far from an expert in Waldorf curriculum. I went to an underfunded American public school, what Brits call state schools, from kindergarten through grade 12. But in the 10th grade, I decided to become a child psychology TA and work in a preschool part-time. I spent a year earning my STAR certification, and I learned how to build curriculum for elementary schoolers. Later, when I was studying English Lit in university, I got invested in modernism's relationship to the occult, and I learned a bit about Rudolf Steiner. Two peculiar times in my life coalescing. So despite not knowing a ton, I do feel secure in saying that Waldorf discourse does not neatly fall into left or right-wing discourse. For example, some Christian fundamentalists consider Waldorf schools satanic because their pedagogy is based on the writings of an out and proud occultist. I knew some of these types growing up. It became a hot topic in my youth group when one of the other kids revealed that they went to a Waldorf school. We were all instructed to lay hands and pray for their soul. Others consider Waldorf schools to be too right-wing because of their roots in Christian neo-Gnosticism, as well as the general emphasis on spirituality. Teachers may, for example, use ideas like fairies and angels in class. What most Waldorf schools teach today has evolved for over a century and is barely related to Rudolf Steiner. However, Steiner's views were not unproblematic, and that's worth saying. By some accounts, Steiner was a spiritual guru who sought to use his philosophy for the good of humanity. By others, he was a quack cult leader who spewed pseudoscience and racist pseudo-history. Like many occultists, he was targeted by the Nazis. Some have said he was even criticized by Hitler himself, while at the same time receiving massive support from the party in general. Historians continue to point out just how much aid Waldorf schools and related initiatives received by the Nazis. In response, Waldorf schools have disavowed Nazism, but deep-rooted systemic issues remain when it comes to their treatment of students with disabilities. And then there's the fact that many Waldorf parents don't vaccinate their children. And, maybe that's not a total coincidence when you learn that these schools were initially funded by eugenicists and can cost quite a bit of money to attend, at least here in the USA. I've heard that the purpose of Waldorf education, when it comes to children around Chip's age, is to create positive associations within the mind of the child. Supposedly, when children associate joy with learning, they learn better. That makes pretty good sense. So while Bluey may not explicitly identify as an IP created to advertise the delights of a Waldorf education, it is structured around showing the benefits of playing with your children, teaching them through play, fostering their imaginations through play, helping them understand right and wrong through play. Chili Healer in particular is pretty vocal in the series when it comes to her belief that children Bluey's age and younger shouldn't have to learn things like chess unless they want to, despite Bandit's best efforts.
Work on their heads later. For now, just hearts.
At the same time, Bluey is not anti-intellectual. When the kids ask questions about the world, they get straight answers from their parents. They are encouraged to seek solutions and pursue independent projects, like in the episode Bingo, in which Bingo has to make her own fun and decides to go on a mission to learn what color kiwi birds are. Emphasis is also strongly placed on autonomy. The kids are not only allowed to make up their own rules, they're allowed to set physical boundaries within play. I'm not sure I've ever seen a show for kids explore this so in depth, and I find it very touching. I remember often feeling scared as a kid to be such a small person in such a big world, especially when that big world involved big adults touching me. I'm glad kids today are learning about their big girl bark. It's an important skill to have. If the mission of Chip Chilla is to counter Bluey's Waldorf leanings, it's not doing a great job. Bluey, intentionally or not, serves as effective pro-Waldorf messaging. Bluey's teacher, Calypso, is a beloved character in the fandom because of her consistent ability to help her pupils find the right solutions for themselves. And to be fair, she has a lot at her disposal. A massive school and grounds in which children can do just about anything they want. And so, whether at home or at school, the Healer Girls create worlds out of anything they can find. In my personal favorite episode, Rug Island,
This episode of Bluey is called Rug Island.
The girls build a utopia from pens, allegorically childhood itself. The pen they give Bandit isn't special through adult eyes, but it's everything because, through the eyes of a child, it can be made into anything. Chip Chilla takes the opposite approach. Chum Chilla reveals these complex cardboard sets he's built for his children to learn lessons in. He hands out costumes and wigs. It's quite ridiculous. The show seems to preach that the more stuff you have/buy for your children, the more cool stuff they have, the better they play. It's like imaginative play brought to you by Craig Waterman from Friendship. It just can't wait to see the next Marvel, the next live-action remake, and if you spoil it, all hell's gonna break loose. And yet these complex cardboard sets just can't compete with the simple charm of an episode like Pizza Girls, in which the Healer cousins pretend to run a pizza shop together serving mud pies. At the start of the episode, Bluey wants a toy car because their current one, Pedley, keeps losing a wheel. But after riding in her cousin Muffin's super-powered electric Jeep, she realizes it's actually more fun to play a real game with an old broken car rather than ride around in circles in a fancy electric car. There is never-ending discourse online over how much time the Healer parents make to play with their kids. Many people have argued that it sets unreasonable, unrealistic standards for parents and makes them feel guilty. This aspect is far worse in Chip Chilla, in which the Chilla parents want to play all the time while the kids protest. Well, it's Dad. Dad wants to play. Mom seems supportive. So this episode, President Chilla, is kind of a bonkers episode about who should and shouldn't be president. One that unironically does the "and thrice Caesar refused the crown" bit. It is, like Bluey, paradoxically a great advertisement for Waldorf schools. These kids have no imagination whatsoever. Not to overdo it with the Simpsons bits, but...
Ugh, not the box factory again, Seymour.
This may well prove fascinating.
I know. I'll just do like Lisa and escape into fantasy.
Class, instead of going to the box factory today, we'll be going to the box factory.
They make Charla president, and she decides to give everyone what they want, which means nothing will ever get done ever again. It's implying that women shouldn't be president for this reason. Even Charla's own dad admits he wouldn't vote for her.
Thank you so much, Madam President. I regret voting for the other guy.
I find this kind of writing far more insidious than overt culture war discourse. This is the kind of writing that destroys the self-esteem of girls by telling them that they should be as small as possible.
But how are we going to eat? Can you help, Dad? Dad? Dad! Punch! Oopsie daisy.
Women, am I right? Give them a shred of power and they'll become dictators. I just feel bad for Charla if this is how she's reacting after just one sliver of power once.
Hey, Mom, what's for lunch?
Sorry, people, but Mom's out of commission.
What do women like? Massage chairs. Moms, am I right? Taking breaks when they should be making sandwiches. How dare she? So what is this show's solution to dictatorship? That the dictator will someday feel bad? The argument the show makes at the end of the episode, I think, is that we should just trust that the politicians have our best intentions in mind, even when they seem evil.
That's why this is yours now, Chubbly. Oh, Dad.
They even flush Washington's wig down the toilet as a symbolic gesture of Charla's defeat, which seems a bit excessive and sort of blasphemous, I'll admit. And it's ironic because Trump is doing all the same things Charla does in this episode right now, but I guess not enough people are spit-taking their coffee about it. Really does prove how much full-time posturing has to happen to prop up a dictator. Episode 11, The Fall of Rome. And speaking of Caesar, in this episode, Dad moderates a game/lesson about the importance of not being lazy and defending what you have. It's an anti-laziness and pro-military lesson rolled into one. In the words of Dr. Devin Price,
we live in a world where hard work is rewarded and having needs and limitations is seen as a source of shame. It's no wonder so many of us are constantly overexerting ourselves, saying yes out of fear of how we'll be perceived for saying no.
So the episode opens with the whole family upset because Chip's stuff is all over the place, which is valid. Dad's like, no, it's fine. This is just territorial expansion, which is important.
Citizens of Rome, stop badgering Caesar this instant!
Thanks, Dad. Are you going to tell him to get his stuff off my desk?
But if his stuff is there, that means it's his land.
Ooh, I like where this is going.
For you see, we are going back to the Roman Empire. It's
chinchillas!
I was taught it was my responsibility to bring the torch of knowledge to the waste. I may have taken the torch part more literally than they intended.
Either way, the show takes a pretty strong attitude regarding ancient Rome and how great it was. And never mind the slaves, I guess. So, the rest of the Chillas don barbarian outfits, yes, they're unironically using the term barbarian in 2025, and start fighting back. Chip tries to deal with this through bread and circuses, and it doesn't work. And then Dad's like, ancient Rome fell because of this. It got too big, and everyone got too lazy to defend what they had.
Wait, it's over? You're telling me that I get my toys broken, my room invaded, and I lose my big, awesome empire?
Yeah, basically. You see, the real Roman Empire fell because they became too big, and they thought they were so awesome that they got lazy and took what they had for granted.
To which my ancient Rome-obsessed wife began passionately arguing with the screen that no, that's not the case. Rome wouldn't have copied all of these societies if they themselves weren't technologically sophisticated. The exact reason for the collapse of Rome has been hotly debated for a long time, and I don't feel super comfortable weighing in because my historical interests are the Edwardian era and 20th century Latin America, but I've heard it argued pretty well that this was actually due to provincial governors becoming essentially kings, which caused civil war and then caused everything to break down administratively. I find it weird that this episode never mentions the Roman Republic, considering the founding fathers of the United States were inspired by the Roman Republic. But I shouldn't be surprised. This episode transposes an American colonial narrative onto the Roman Empire, when most of Rome's enemies, quote-unquote, were peer empires on the same level. Hannibal? Carthage? No? I just want to point out that over the course of this episode, Chum Chum and Chinny Chilla smash their son's toys for his perceived transgressions. There's a game framing these actions as play, but really, they're breaking their son's toys because he left them around. This is not just a disproportionate reaction, it's traumatizing to children to see their toys destroyed. In a more complex way than I had before, I felt bad for Chip Chilla. This isn't really a tinfoil hat, but I truly do think this is a slavery, colonialism, and manifest destiny Appalachia episode rolled into one. Episode 12, Snow Battle. In this episode, Dad moderates a game/lesson about physics, except he doesn't. The episode opens with the parents practically begging their kids to take an interest in the Rube Goldberg machine, and just look how bored these kids are. This is what happens when you train children not to take an interest in the world around them. But when Charla does express an interest in science, it doesn't matter to Dad. He and Chinny pretend to be Russian villains and declare it's time for an epic snowball fight. This show definitely aspires to do the Simpsons heightened reality thing, but that doesn't work if every episode is a game. Because games have... Wait, is Chubbly literally doing the dance from the Bluey intro right now? In the end, Chip shows Dad his understanding of physics by using simple machines to defeat him in the snowball fight. Only, Dad didn't actually teach his kids anything about the principles of physics. This episode, man, it's broken. They don't bother to animate the mechanisms they claim will teach kids physics, just the reaction shots to the mechanisms. Is it because they didn't pay the animators enough? Or is it because they didn't think this through? Either way, even if Chip and Charla learn something about physics, which they probably don't, the kids watching at home certainly will not. Look, I loved going to the Oregon Museum of Science and Industry as a child, making effective bottle rockets, but without a supplementary class, would I have done well in physics? I doubt it. Dad seems to take pride in tricking his kids into learning, but again, children are sentient beings, and this is an antagonistic way to view them. Children don't inherently hate learning, discipline, or self-improvement by default. If that were true, why would so many kids be into not just math and science, but going to youth group, doing arts and crafts, solving puzzles, building Lego sets, taking things apart, and/or doing ritualized activities like martial arts? This is a cycle of bad pedagogy. When you tell your kids that it's normal to hate science and literature, unless they're prevented in a fun, exceptional way, you're just reinforcing that dislike in your children. Because, unfortunately, science and literature are usually not presented in a fun way. And it does take a little bit of discipline sometimes to enjoy them. Chum Chum acts like he's in a constant state of tricking his dogs into taking medicine by wrapping it in ham. Episode 13, the Thanksgiving Holiday Special. In this lengthy holiday special, Dad moderates a game/lesson about Thanksgiving. Kind of. Really, Chum Chum Chilla just wants a Thanksgiving that is as magical as the ones he used to have when he was a kid. He also very much wants to impress his father.
Or we do a retelling of the very first Thanksgiving. It's Chilla time!
It's Chilla what?
It's Chilla time. It's something I yell right before we do Chilla time.
Yes, but what happened to calling homeschool Chilla Learnings?
Dad said Chilla Learning was too on the nose, whatever that means.
Really?
No, I altered it a little bit.
More than a little bit.
I'll explain later.
It's Chilla time! I still think Chilla Learnings is a better...
This episode is the worst offender when it comes to adults referencing old things and the kids getting annoyed by it, presented as comedy.
Son, it's a pleasure to be here.
Dad, it is a pleasure to host you in my home as well.
Oof.
Very nice impression.
What is that?
John F. Kennedy. You've been working on that,
Why?
haven't you?
There are long Walter Cronkite jokes in 2023, as well as persistent references to Jimmy Stewart and John Wayne. This show thinks bad impressions make for great comedy. So that's Grandpa aka Choopy Chilla's whole thing. Subpar impressions while the kids go, huh? What? It's as thrilling as it sounds.
Our story begins not on the first Thanksgiving, but before it, as the Puritans prepare for winter.
He's doing Walter Cronkite.
Who?
He was the most important broadcaster in all of America in the 1960s.
Well, listen up, pilgrims. We didn't travel no 66 days across the Atlantic Ocean just to starve on account of some cold weather.
That's John Wayne. He's doing John Wayne.
Who's John Wayne?
He was a movie star in the 1930s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s.
But being in the new land...
Cronkite.
Still nothing.
Even the posters in Charla's bedroom are ancient references. Little House on the Prairie, Dawson's Creek. These kids are so sheltered, it's worrying. It's like a kid-friendly adaptation of Dogtooth at times. I bet when I tell people that Bluey is a show for all ages, this is what they're picturing. Some adult jokes that go over kids' heads. You know, the Shrek method.
Please keep up on the grass, shine your shoes, wipe your face.
Funny the way Duloc propaganda reads exactly like this show. Anyways, Bluey is great in part because its text is for children and its subtext is for adults, so as you age, you can get more and more out of it. Bluey, you see, is like an onion, or perhaps a cake that has layers. A pavlova, even. For example, series creator Joe Brum has confirmed that Chili and Bandit lost a baby, but children watching would not pick up on that.
Okay, let's keep this moving.
So then they...
Children's TV juggernaut Bluey might seem footloose and fancy-free, but it's actually got a really excellent track record of addressing some of the stickier issues kids need to learn about. In the episode The Show, there's a blink or you'll miss it moment when Bluey and her little sister Bingo put on a show for their parents Chili and Bandit. Bingo sticks an inflated balloon up her top to play a pregnant Chili, and the balloon bursts. Chili grimaces, and Bandit grabs her hand. Many viewers interpreted this as representative that Chili had experienced a miscarriage. There seemed to be some heated debate online as to whether it is indeed a reference to miscarriage, so I reached out to the makers of the show and asked them. This was the response from Bluey writer Joe Brum.
The show does indeed point at Chili having a miscarriage. In fact, this is what the episode is about, essentially. Chili is passing down her method of coping to Bingo.
I'll tell you what I do. Bluey, checklist.
Oh, okay.
I have a little cry. Check. Then I pick myself up.
Check.
Dust myself off.
Check.
And keep going. The show must go on.
I can't say too much about who it is based on, as the person involved wouldn't want me to. But the key aspect of the experience relevant to this episode was the fact that her other children still needed taking care of. So there really was no choice for her but to pick herself up and keep going, which I always admired.
Bluey doesn't explain what a miscarriage is, how they happen, etc. And to be clear, not every adult in the world is going to pick up on every bit of subtext presented. For example, I adore the episode Stickbird.
This episode of Bluey is called Stickbird,
in which Bandit isn't his usual playful self. Here he seems deflated, defeated, and a little dissociative, but the show never tells us why.
Dad, race me to that stick! Dad. Dad!
Oh, sorry, mate. What was that?
Let it go, babe. You're missing all this.
I'm trying.
My personal theory is that Bandit in this episode is a reflection of Brum. And I think the subtext here when Bandit says,
"But when you put something beautiful out into the world, it's no longer yours, really,"
is Brum's own creative frustrations with Bluey. When Bandit throws his hard feelings into the ocean, the camera follows. We, the audience, are the hard feelings. We gotta be thrown far in order for Bandit to enjoy his vacation. I just know the comments are gonna be filled with people being like, it's an animated show. Animated shows don't have cameras. You're so smart and such a good dog. Chip Chilla conversely thinks making references to adult things is how Bluey accomplishes what it does. And it seems to revel in things going over kids' heads. Like, yeah, that'll show those human beings I'm obligated to take care of that they need me.
Why did they make this one extra long? If they had one gag, this is what they waste their money on. I've never seen a company, well, that's not true. I've seen some companies piss away enormous amounts of money. But I look at this and it's like, I understand when you're so incompetent that you don't know how to get your business off the ground and you're relying on angel investors. But they were a profitable company. They knew how to make money. And then it's like they just decided, you know what? What if we didn't do that anymore and instead followed the worst possible idea, creating kids shows when no one in our audience is asking for that, and we have no way of reaching this new audience because no one in their right mind is going to be like, you know what I want my kids to watch? Something associated with political commentary, conservative political commentary. You know, this was their flagship show.
The adults reference pop culture, the kids frustratedly ask what is going on, rinse and repeat. It's no wonder the kids say things like,
"We don't have to read, do we?"
Oh.
And they, growing restless from being forced to listen to Choopy spew propaganda at them in impressions.
Also, they showed the settlers how to use fish to fertilize their field.
Go nuts. And Dad and Choopy don't intervene because that's supposed to be women's work or something. Where are the role models on this show? Who do the children watching have to admire, aspire to be even? Meanwhile, of course, the women work away in the kitchen. Charla joins them, and suddenly I'm watching Long Story Short. The mother-in-law has issues with Chinny, and Charla is left in the lurch.
You know, I see what your thinking is, but we usually just throw everything out on the table. Now go on, Charla.
You got it, Yaya.
Okay, I know that's how it has been done, but this way stops Chip from having a pie-only dinner. Charla, please come back.
I'm sure there's a way we could tiptoe around that. Charla, please go set the pie.
Charla, be a dear and get back here. That girl, go ahead, dear. Come back here. Pie on the table. On the counter. Right there. With the pie out later. Oh, yeah. Listen to Mom. Tradition. I'll pay you.
Oh, it's lovely. I have to find something to put in it, which is more work for me on the busiest day of my life, but it's lovely.
My parents taught me to never show up empty-handed.
So she shows up empty-faced.
You wanted help with the salad?
Yes, but first, find this a home.
What is it?
It's a vase. What does it look like?
Doesn't look like our vases.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's
the
a new
wrong
kind of vase, okay? Jennifer picked it out for us because she thought we needed new vases.
No.
Photo. Oh, that's a great idea, dear, but seriously, we don't want to mess around with the traditional Thanksgiving photo, right?
Well...
Oh, bless your heart. So, probably best to not wear these in the photo.
Anyways, what do women like? Dishes.
Wow. Wait, you're giving me the Chilla family serving platter? Thank you. Wow.
Oh, is this the first episode to pass the Bechdel test? Almost. That was the first time I think there were only women in the scene talking. Now you can be more nuanced in your presentation. Being like,
oh yeah.
On the other hand, it passes the Bechdel test.
Which means it's good.
Yeah, that's how quality works.
As for the Thanksgiving story presented, it isn't really, but the very little there is has the expected white supremacist bent. Chupi uses the term shown on screen multiple times. I can't speak for every Indigenous person in North America or the world, obviously, but I do feel obligated to say that none of my Indigenous friends like or use that word to refer to themselves or their ancestors, and they especially don't want to hear white people saying it. Either way, it's up to those who belong in the community to dictate preferred verbiage, not outsiders like myself. So yes, the episode does feel anti-Indigenous. Although it's not like I expected better from a show made by the Daily Wire.
Listen, son, I think perhaps I've been a bit too rigid with the Thanksgiving traditions. It's just that the Thanksgivings we had when you were growing up, they meant a lot to me, that's all.
Yeah, I know. They meant a lot to me too, Dad. That's why I want to make Thanksgivings just as special for my kids as you did for me.
And I know you will, son. I know you will.
The father and grandfather have that heart-to-heart moment at the end where, like, the grandfather apologizes for being too overbearing, but, like, they never had any conflict in the show.
No.
The dad,
No.
like, loved that old tradition. So, like, I don't know why that apology happened.
But not just any parade. The first annual Chilla Family Thanksgiving Parade!
And that was another thing. Then the kids just, like, they made their own tradition, and they just... I don't know, they just came out of nowhere. It's like, we have a new tradition and it's a parade. Isn't that great? And everyone's like, yeah, that's great.
You know what? Let's have a rethink.
So much of watching this show is just me going, is that a joke?
It's when you see a conservative person tell a joke and it has like the character of a joke, but with none of the wit, timing, or insight or anything. It's like someone who studied jokes but doesn't understand humor.
The amount of reference humor or just like reference culture in this episode is really kind of shocking to me. Like, the only way that they seem to simultaneously make fun of something and also revere something is through like reference humor. They do it for both purposes. And I find that, I don't know, I just find that sort of fascinating. Genuine insight into the conservative mind. Everything in their life is a reference to something else.
Yeah, it's trying to endlessly recreate something. And I think that's what, like, the antithesis of good art. You're not just replicating something. You should be trying to do something different, original, or even if you're, like, referencing something old in a new way. And this whole episode is about traditions. There's no attempt to try and understand where the kids are coming from and what they might want. It's, honestly, that feels like the lesson the dad learned.
Right.
You create something and the kids will happily go along with it, just like he happily went along with what his dad did.
The message, in a way, is the purpose of new traditions is so we can keep the old ones. It's like we can take a stand against the march of time by maintaining our traditions and creating new ones. And I'm like, no, the old ones get phased out. Do you not get that?
Well, I mentioned earlier the whole, like, parable of the fence thing. It's this idea that when someone is building a fence, or a fence exists on a piece of property, you can't just go and take it down because that might be irresponsible. Like, maybe that fence exists there for a reason. And it's usually used by someone like Matt Walsh to go, like, these people in their hubris are trying to do something new. They don't even understand what came before. They just want to do something new. And you should respect traditions. And before you replace it, you better understand it first. Not really realizing that, like, A, the traditions he holds up usually aren't that old or revered, but also B, usually people understand the traditions if they're, like, pulling them apart. Like, when someone complains about modern art, like, a lot of these people, the successful artists anyway, do have an understanding of, like, art history and classical forms of art. It's not like they just couldn't figure it out, so they did some like some weird stick figure. This is sort of like this episode makes me think of someone who wants to that sees tradition not as something to be interrogated or understood or recontextualized, but simply iterated upon. Like, no one actually thinks about what they're doing in this whole episode. They're like, well, Grandpa liked to tell stories. Dad liked to act things out, and the kids like a parade. And we'll just do all of it. And there's no real discussion about what any of this means. It's not really an understanding of tradition at all. It's really absent-mindedly upholding it. It's important to contextualize history sometimes.
And that was Season 1 of Chip Chilla. Season 2 came out in 2024, so I know people are going to be in the comments of this video like, Chip Chilla? You mean that show from 2 years ago? Aren't you a little late to analyzing it? And, well, yes, but that's exactly why I became somewhat obsessed with Chip Chilla. It's aging poorly already, much worse than Bluey. Chip Chilla is a product that exists to capitalize off of right-wing resentment over the popularity of Bluey and Disney+. But over the course of its short run, Disney+ has embraced the authoritarian regime, and for a show that constantly preaches the importance of the classics, it has a shallow understanding of the classics. There's near constant discourse around what defines classics versus trends in art and design spaces, and maybe this is a good contribution to that discourse in a way. Chip Chilla references all of these things that have, for the most part, remained constants in our culture: Moby Dick, Jimmy Stewart, Robin Hood. And yet, Chip Chilla will only be remembered as a blip of controversy at best, and plagiarism at worst. Classics, real timeless classics, should you choose to believe they exist, are imbued with thoughtfulness and artistry in a way that feels universal. Look at quilts, chess, leather jackets, pearls, fireplaces, stained glass windows, silver jewelry. All of these simple items are in conversation with their context. Chip Chilla is not even in conversation with the texts it claims to uplift. And so I find myself hopeful watching this show, that it's representative of the fragility and short-sightedness of the regime to which it caters. I really didn't want to split this episode into 2 parts, but my wife and I were suddenly displaced while I was making this, so now rent is due way sooner than expected. And besides, my brain can only handle so much Chilla time. So, in part 2, coming out quite soon, we will cover Season 2 of Chip Chilla, how it attempted to address the backlash from Season 1, Ben Shapiro's declining popularity, and Rob Schneider's exit from the show, how it handles texts like Tombstone and Robin Hood, how it tackles big ideas like cancel culture and industrialization. Zoe, Jose, and the leftist cooks will once again be joining me. See you soon, and until then, I'm so glad it's no longer Chilla time. So there's this Lindsay Ellis video called Bluey Adults.
This episode is called Bluey Adults.
It's kind of about how adults ruin everything. While my video is about the show itself, Lindsay's video is more about people who love it and aren't 6 years old. What's the deal with that anyway? So if you want to know more about the inner workings of, say, Facebook groups and subreddits where Bluey adults meet up to talk about their weird little headcanons, ships, and inside jokes, or if you've ever wondered why Bluey adults get so defensive when told their favorite show was made for toddlers, even though it literally was, Lindsay has got the perfect video for you. But that video, and most of Lindsay's recent work, is only on Nebula. I've been a Nebula creator for a few years, and I've been promoting them almost exclusively since. I don't take other sponsors that often because I believe in Nebula's mission. It's the place for thoughtful creators and prestige originals. It's a creator-built platform made by smart, weird, utterly introspective creators like Lindsay, Lily Alexander, Lady Emily, Maggie May Fish, and my friend Jose, who featured in this video. That's right, Nebula has Jose now, which is a big win for my followed channels tab. You'll find exclusive videos and originals from all those creators and more. All of that with no ads and early access. Plus, if you sign up with my link, nebula.tv/LolaSebastian, you'll be helping me make more videos for real life. If you like my channel and want to see more content from me, this is a great way to guarantee that I can continue doing just that. With my link, you can get 50% off Nebula. That's just $30 a year or $2.5 a month at go.nebula.tv/LolaSebastian. Or why not use my link to give yourself the gift of a lifetime of Nebula for just $300. That's $40 off from the usual $500 for a never-ending supply of Nebula goodness. The platform just keeps expanding, and I can't wait to see where we go next. So go find out what the deal with Bluey Adults is. Use my link, nebula.tv/LolaSebastian, or scan the QR code on screen. It'll take you straight there. Once again, that's nebula.tv/LolaSebastian. Hooray!
I will raise the children if you pay finally sold a Chevy and we had another baby. And you took that job in Tennessee. You made friends at the farm and you joined them at the bar almost every single day of the week. I will wash the dishes while you go hide